train a border collie. What do we say about border collies? We say that, oh, they're really smart, right? It's not that they're smart, it's that they're trainable, and that's what they're after. You know, that's what they want to turn people into, is just trainable drones. They don't want people actually being intelligent, and intelligence denotes a sense of self and self-worth, and where you're like, okay, hey, I don't mind learning a skill, but learning a skill is not being trained to behave like a fucking chimpanzee, okay? It's not the same kind of thing. You're not being trained to be like a dog, the way that you would train a dog. So one of the things that does this, and I've talked about this before, but I've talked about the marshmallow test. Now the marshmallow test goes like this. It goes like, you offer a kid a marshmallow, and then you say, but if you can wait, Mikey, for 10 minutes you can have 2 marshmallows. And then at 10 minutes, you give them 2 marshmallows. Now the theory behind this is that it denotes intelligence, because they can delay gratification. But delayed gratification gets used against you, and let me show you how. Let's say that you ate both those marshmallows and told Mikey to get bent. Well, if you did that, then you would continue the test. You would go back and try and do that test again, let's say a week or 2 later, and see if Mikey falls for it again. Now, if he says, no, I'm just going to take the 1 marshmallow you're offering me right now, that second one you can just shove it just right back up your ass because you're a lying sack of shit. Now, that denotes intelligence, by the way. Okay, so the marshmallow test actually is a function of trust. It's not a function of intelligence. Your trust is taken advantage of and manipulated, because the idea is that you're waiting, you're going to work now and then delay gratification until later on. The thing is that you have to be able to understand, can the person who's making you that promise to delay gratification later on, do they have the ability to deliver it? Not do they have the willingness to deliver, do they have the ability to deliver on their bullshit promises? So let me explain how delayed gratification actually works, or is supposed to work in the real world. Let's say that you're building a house, like you are physically building a house or some kind of a shelter on your property. And you decide, well, I could do it really cheap and fast, and be out of the tent. You're living in a tent, you just want to get done cheap and fast. Or you could say, well, it may take me an extra 2 or 3 months of living in the tent, but when I'm done, I'm going to have a much nicer home that I can live in. You follow the analogy? That's delayed gratification because it's based solely upon your effort and there's no third parties involved. What you're seeing now when people say delayed gratification, and you see this from well-meaning people who I think in the psychology world, feel-good psychologists that are out there and so on, I think that they mean well, but they don't understand that when you add a third party to that, you add a variable. Let me explain. When you go work at a company, how does it work where you work? The boss says, show up on time, do a good job, and you'll get ahead in this company. Really vague. So show up on time, that's not vague. Do a good job, what does that mean exactly? Because a lot of companies change what that means depending on the day, right? I think we've all worked at companies like that at one time or another, where the meaning of doing a good job changes, very fluid. And like, okay, and you'll get ahead. Okay, what precisely does that mean? Do you see what I mean? See all the vagaries involved here? So the promise is that you're going to be given something later on. So the idea is, oh, work really hard, and we're gonna make all these promises to you. But you can see when you throw a third party in there, it becomes subjective, and you become at the mercy of their whims as to whether or not that they actually will follow through on their bullshit. Remember their marshmallow test, right? You screwed over Mikey by not giving, by eating the 2 marshmallows and telling him to fuck off. Well, this is so this is a manipulation that takes place. Are you following along with what I'm telling you here? Okay. So if you have a system that is telling you that to just keep working hard now and get paid later, work hard now, get paid later. How does that work? I don't know, say at a bank. The bank wants you, if you take out a loan and they want you to make a payment on the 1st of the month, right? They want you to make the payment on the 1st of the month, right? Now, do you then get to say, like, well, no, don't give her, hey, just don't worry about it, you'll get your money at some point later on in the future. Well, see, they want to be paid right now, right? If you go to a store, does the store owner then say, no problem at all, just take all the merchandise you want and pay me when you get an opportunity? No. Or when I'm 65, or when I'm, 70, you can pay me later on. No, it doesn't work like that. See, notice how it's a very one-sided relationship. You do all the work, you do all the, all the slaving, you do all the bullshit, and then at some point, maybe in the future, right, you'll get ahead, or you'll get what you want. And a bunch of younger people, Gen X in particular, I mean, and there's a lot of Xers that have followed this, but a lot of millennials and Zoomers are really starting to see this. Because the companies, remember, the faster you print money, the shorter people's attention spans will get. And money's been printing really fast, so people's attention spans are getting really, really short. That means that the younger generation are seeing this much faster because they can't pull these cons off like they did with the boomers. Boomers, they conned them for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They conned those guys for fucking ever. And same with Silent Gen. They conned those guys for a long time. Well, now that's coming to an end because it's having to happen so fast, and most companies can't stick around very long, right? So this is why you're seeing all of this kind of thing happen. It's because most of these companies can't afford to actually do any of the shit that they told you, and all of the bullshit that you were told in school isn't going to translate into real life. I openly tell anybody you should get out of school. I don't care what grade you're in. You should give them the finger and fuck off. You need to go do something else. Go do anything else other than this, because this isn't going to continue to work. But that's something you have to understand. So not to get too far afield, but you have to understand what's happening here with this. You're being manipulated to get a reward in the future that doesn't exist. There is no way for it to exist. There's no money to pay any of this, right? Just like there's no money to do all these other promises that these companies are making. Companies, governments, you name it. There's no way. It's just you keep doing this stuff, and you will never, ever, ever, ever get ahead. There will always be something that pops up that says, oh well, and it's always, because remember, it's always based on a third party. And you can go back to my shills video. There's a lot of shills out there that say, no, see, look, it worked for me. Yeah, I mean, I can go to a casino right now and find anybody there. I can go and say, hey, how much did you win yesterday? And they'll all tell me, oh, I won 500. And somebody will tell me they won a bunch of money. Now, they may or may not have. They could be lying, right? There's no way to verify that. Okay, what if they did win big? We've already been over this. What do casinos do with big winners? They promote it because they want you to go in there thinking that you're going to be the big winner. You're not. You're not. Not everybody can win at that level. It's just not possible because money would be worthless, right? In fact, money would be almost as worthless as all those goddamn degrees they've given everybody, because everybody now has a degree in everything. So they're kind of worthless now, right? That's the problem. So something to consider, all you young people out there that are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. That's what the fuck is going on. You've been manipulated. You've been told to do all of this work, and that at some point in the future when you retire, you'll get what you want. Instead of saying, just a second here, why does it take so long to get all of this? Remember, we've been over this. I give you the example of building a house, right? How long would it take you to actually build a house? Even if you spend all the time doing it, could you do it in about 4 or 5 years? Okay, then why is it you got to pay 30 or 40 years on the same thing? What's the story with all that? Because of the bankers and politicians that have pumped up all these prices and made things ridiculous. These are all these middlemen. Once again, there's that middleman. Remember we talked about the middleman economy a few videos ago? That middleman economy, that false hope bullshit economy. That's where all this is coming from. Okay, that's where all of this is coming from. I hope this helps some of you. We'll see you next time.